What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Eclectic Collector channel. So this is going to be the second video drop of 2024. The first video I dropped today. Today is January 1st, and today I dropped a tour video of my whole collection. So I don't know yet how well that video is doing, but I hope it does pretty well. That is, I've got like something like over 900 volumes of manga. And I talked about some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today in the tour video, but I'm going to do like a much, I guess, more in-depth kind of look at those volumes. I got something, I want to say like 60 volumes of manga. So yeah, I want to talk about it all with you all. And I do like soft covers first, and then I do like my Omni paperbacks, and then after the Omni paperbacks, I do the hardcovers and also do my Spanish language manga. So that's kind of the rhythm that I have. You know, I usually do like the paperbacks first, and then the Omni paperbacks, and then the Spanish language ones, and then I close out with the hardcovers. So let's get right into this. I hope that you are having a great new year. I hope that everything is going well for you. I'm excited to do this. I hope that you are excited to join me. And yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about some manga. Right off the bat, by Kodansha, we've got Origin by Boichi. I haven't started this yet, but I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be covering this in a video called Hey, Have You Read? I've done one Hey, Have You Read video on this channel, and I'm going to do another one where I'm going to talk about Boichi's Origin, and yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to. This dude's done a whole heap of work that hopefully eventually gets translated into English, like Sun Can Rock. And he's like half of the duo that do Dr. Stone. And I can't remember the other series that he's done, but I'll put a picture of it here somewhere. But yeah, I'm looking forward to starting this year in 24, and I got a lot of videos that I want to do, so this is going to be one of the first ones that I'm going to be knocking out. And then right here we've got Happy Sugar Life. This was a gift from a friend of mine, a dude named Justin, and I've got a bunch of stuff here that were gifts by my homeboy. The publisher of this is Yen Press, but I really don't know anything about this, but judging by those eyes right there, she's got some wild eyes. I'm assuming this is going to be a pretty screwed up story, so I'm definitely looking forward to starting this thing. We got another Yen Press release. This is Honey Trap Shared House. This looks like trash, and as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that I have quite an enjoyment for just like super trash manga. Not that I'm hating on it or anything. Like, I just use that to describe manga that I don't take like super seriously. It's like super fan service heavy, you know, just like that sort of stuff. And this is definitely one of those series that, you know, based on the cover for volume 2, that yeah, this is just going to be like super fan service heavy. And I like that cover art with her holding the knife, the combat knife. I don't know, it's just that she's like blushing at the same time, like she's like half tsundere, like she's like half tsundere, half yandere or something. And then up next, we got a whole heap of Black Torch. This is by Viz Media. This is the same creator who's actually currently writing Heart Gear, and I had no idea that it was the same dude, but as soon as I found out, I picked these volumes up. So this is the complete set of Black Torch. So we got volume 1 right there, we got volume 2, we got volume 3. I like that artwork quite a bit. And there's volume 4, and then right there is volume 5. So this is a 5-volume series. Kind of hoping Heart Gear runs for more than 5 volumes, because that is a series that I've quite enjoyed. But yeah, that's cool, you know, same creator as Heart Gear, and I'm looking forward to getting into this pretty soon. I've seen this in a lot of people's collections, you know, so I'm sure it's a solid series, and given how much I've loved Heart Gear, I'm sure I'm going to love this series as well. Alright, a cutesy yet kind of lewd manga series right here. This is Please Go Home, Miss Akutsu. And this is Ghost Ship. I've been reading this manga on the Shueisha app called Hokkaido Girls Are Super Adorable. I don't know if that's ever going to get an English translation or not, but I hope it does. And it kind of reminds me of this. Like, I've been reading it. Yeah, I've been reading it on the Shueisha app, and it definitely reminds me so much, you know, on the manga. I forgot what the app is actually called. It's like Manga Plus or whatever. I've been reading it on that app, and yeah, I like that series a lot. It kind of reminded me of Please Go Home, Miss Akutsu. I'm in the middle of volume 2 right now, And like it's like combo like super lewd, kind of cutesy, adorable, but it's actually a good series. I mean, it's not something that I would read just like nonstop. I kind of break it up between reading other things because it's so niche. It's just like pretty much her like not wanting to go home ever, and it gets kind of like I don't get monotonous. If it's like all you're reading. All right, so now we're gonna get into Frieren Beyond Journey's End, and this is the second volume of the series. Pretty sure, yeah, this is Viz. I haven't started either of these yet. I haven't started volume 1 or volume 2 yet of the series, but I do want to. I've heard really good things about Frieren, and if it's anything like To Your Eternity, I'm probably gonna cry like a little baby. Yeah, I mean, I've seen so much artwork for this and like so many fan edits of this that like it's really piqued my interest, and I really want to start it. So yeah, hopefully this year I'll get into the free run. Nina the Starry Bride, and this is by Kodansha. I like that artwork, dude. Like that artwork really sold me. I'm gonna be talking about this in my Hey Have You Read video. Pretty much that video is gonna be like catch up, like 2023 catch up, because I didn't read everything that came out in 23 in 23. It's just like I got so much stuff that I'm doing, for the channel and just trying to keep up with like a whole heap of manga. But I'm going to be reading this pretty soon to do for my Hey Have You Read Part 2 video. So yeah, I'll let you know my thoughts, once I start it. And then right here we've got Madaka Koga, Volume 3. Yeah, Madaka Koga is impervious to my charms, and this is by Kodansha. This is one of those series where like I said before with Please Go Home Misakutsu, it's like if you just read it nonstop, it kind of gets monotonous. I feel like this is one of those things where like you have to break it up between something else, like read maybe like half of it or something, and then take a break, read something else, and then come back and read the other half, and it won't seem as, tedious, because it is basically like just this girl that's trying to get this dude to fall in love with her, and the whole thing is that just her trying to get this dude to fall in love with her, and it gets kind of monotonous, after a while. And I feel like if you just break it up between something else, it becomes more enjoyable. At least that's, how it was for me with that's the way I do these sorts of stories. So this is something that is by a dude from Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken. This is self-released, and I'm going to be doing a video coming up about creators that I guess self-release and they're for the most part independent, because I think that's something that's really cool. I like when mangaka kind of do their own thing and don't really look for a publisher, though there's nothing wrong trying to get your work published by somebody. I just think it's cool when people do their own thing, and Dedi All Do is one of those situations where this creator, I don't want to mispronounce his name, so I'm not going to say it. I'll put the name right there, but this is one of those situations where this dude, and I'll put a link too if you want to try to get your hands on this volume, because he is an independent creator and I want to support independent creators. So I'll put a link in the description where you can go buy your own physical copy of this volume from this creator. And I bought it directly from the creator, and it came with this little sticker right here, and then it also came with this thank you card, which is really cool, and it's personalized, so it says my name right there. And I thought that was really cool, a really nice little personal touch, saying thank you to people for buying your manga. And yeah, dude, I really want to get into this because I want to support independent creators, and I want to do a video, just highlighting independent creators. It's going to be like my Tatsuki Fujimoto video that I did, mangaka spotlight, but it's going to just feature 4 different mangaka, and this is going to be one of them. I haven't started the series yet, but I will next year, and I'm sorry, but I will this year. My brain is still in 2023 mode. I'm still thinking it's 2023, dude. So please forgive me. My brain, is still 100% 2023 mode. But yeah, I'm gonna start this year. So yeah, something I'm looking forward to. Blade of the Moon Princess by Viz Media. This is the same dude who did or does Spy Family, and then he also did Tista, and this is the second volume of the series. I think volume 3 might or might not be out. I'm not quite sure on that. This is really hard to get into at first. I couldn't get into the first volume of the series, but as it got going, it got a lot better, and I really started to enjoy it quite a bit. I want to say, once you get past the part where she's on the moon, and you get to the part where they're on Earth or whatever, or the Tainted World, it gets so much better, dude. And I told my friend that too, Justin, because we went to Barnes & Noble together not too long ago, last year in December. We went to Barnes & Noble, and I wanted to film, but it just ended up not happening. It was too it was too condensed in there. There was too many people, so I couldn't get a good video out. I wouldn't have been able to get a good video out of it. But But yeah, I told him to keep reading it because he'd started it and he said he couldn't get into it. And I asked him, "Did you get past, where they're on the moon?" He said no. So I was just like, "Keep reading, dude. It gets so much better." So yeah, this is definitely something that I'm looking forward to, keeping up with because it does get a lot better. We got Chainsaw Man, Volume 13 by the man, the myth, the legend, Tatsuki Fujimoto. I'm gonna be honest. This second arc has been kind of slow for me, and I keep up with the physical volume. I mean, I keep up with the digital release of the manga on the, I guess, Shonen Jump Viz app or whatever. And right now, where it is, it's starting to get good. It's starting to, ramp back up. It's starting to feel like the old Chainsaw Man. But it did kind of slow down and start to, I don't know, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh my god, why am I reading this? But it did, slow down quite a bit. And it did feel kind of like a slog a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, I'm gonna keep reading it, dude. I'm not gonna stop reading it. I've supported this dude from when Volume 1 dropped, because that's when I got into it. Is when the first volume dropped in 2020, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading this. I'm gonna keep supporting this creator because this is one of my favorite mangaka, and yeah, I want to see what comes next. I want to see where part 2, leads to, and what this big event that's coming is gonna, what's gonna end up being, the whole thing, and maybe it turns into like a Shibuya arc, sort of a thing. But yeah, we'll see. We got Love's in Sight, Volume 4, and this is by Viz, much like that Chainsaw Man volume, which is also Viz, Shonen Jump. Love's in Sight is a story that actually got a lot better for me. I liked it quite a bit as I was reading it, but then, towards the end, you see this character kind of, go through, a metamorphosis or whatever, and she becomes kind of, a different person. She grows up, from being, this kind of, childish sort of a character, and she still looks kind of chibi or whatever, but she does go through, a metamorphosis where she becomes more of her own person, and I really liked to see that, because that was such great character development. And I'm going to be starting Volume 2 pretty soon, and definitely really excited to see where this story goes. Alright, I want to talk about some more independent creators. Right here we've got Udon by Mako Vice. I unfortunately could not get my hands on the newest release by this creator. Mako Vice also does just artwork or whatever. I'll tag their Instagram or something in the actually I'll tag the other creators' Instagram as well in the description or whatever. But this is another series that I'm going to be talking about when I do my creator video. But yeah, I have nothing but respect, dude, for these independent creators, and yeah, I can't wait to start this up. Then we got the great Yokai War Guardians, and this is released by something called Titan Manga. I've never heard of it. I think this is based on an anime, if I'm not mistaken, or there is an anime or something like that. I'm not really quite sure what that situation is, but I picked up this first volume. I kind of like the way the artwork looks, so kind of, for whatever reason, it makes me think of Fate Zero, or just Fate in general. I don't know if it has anything to do with that sort of a thing, but yeah, or even the Grand Record, it was Ragnarok War or whatever. Maybe something like that. It's kind of what it makes me think of. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. And if I end up liking this first volume, maybe I'll, decide to continue the series. We've got Die Dark by one of my absolute favorite creators of all time, Kyu Hayashida. This woman can do no wrong. This story's gotten progressively better too. Not that I'm saying that it was ever bad at any point, but it goes from being really cutesy in the beginning to there starts to be more of a structured story. And I've done a bunch of videos about this series, and I've kind of mentioned that, as I've been doing videos about it. Because first I did a Let's Talk About, and then I did a Why You Should Read. And then I've also just done I've done 2 or 3, I think, yeah, 2 videos where I just talked about, where I did reviews of the series, of the volumes. I think I did a review for Volume 4, and then I did a review for Volume 5. I don't know if I'm going to do a review for Volume 6. I think I might be killing the reviews on this channel in the Let's Review format. I may not be doing too many of those going forward into next year. I keep saying next year. Into this year. See, dude, my brain, like I said, I'm still wired in 2023. I'm still wired I'm still in 2023 mode. But I don't know, we'll see, dude. If I feel the inclination to do a Let's Review, I might knock one out for this. I haven't started it yet, but I do want to, hopefully pretty soon. Then we got Please Put Them On, Dakamin-san, and I got the first 2 volumes of this series. This just looks like a really outrageous series where I guess this dude sees this girl putting on some panties, and then she tries to get him to put them on, but the panties are like magical. I don't know, dude. Like I said, as I've gotten older, I've just become more interested in trash. I don't know why, but I'll read anything. I mean, like I read a lot of like good manga. Like I did a video about Innocent last year, and that was like my last video for 2023 was the Innocent video, and I did a lot of like random sort of research or whatever, for that video, and learned about and kind of like dug deeper into the time period and whatnot. And that's a video that I'm really proud of. And I don't know, dude, I also just like this sort of stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with, turning your brain off and just enjoying trash. Sometimes you just gotta you can't just be high strung all the damn time. So yeah, I'm gonna be starting this. I want to do another I want to say kind of like lewd manga video. Or something like that, If that's something you would be interested in, let me know in the comments, because I do kind of want to do more videos on trash manga. It's fun, dude. I mean, it's just so much fun just talking about trash manga. So yeah, we'll see. And then we've got Heart Gear right here, volume 2 of Heart Gear. This is such a solid manga. I'm gonna be starting this volume pretty soon. I read the first volume already, and I'm sure I've said it 100 times already. Like every single time I've ever talked about this, it reminds me of of Nier Automata, and it reminds me of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and just like that sort of cyberpunk sphered stuff. It's a great story, dude. The artwork reminds me of Blam by Tsutomu Nihei, and yeah, dude, I'm really looking forward to continuing this because I love how gritty it is, like how gritty the artwork is, but at the same time it's such a hopeful story. And this is also by Viz, so if you want a good gritty sort of story, I think this is definitely worth checking out, especially if you're into androids and stuff like that, and if you like Armored Core 6. I think that you will like this. The Witch and the Knight Will Survive. I think this is by Yen Press. Yep, this is by Yen Press. And I have the first 2 volumes of this manga right here. This is kind of a screwed up story. Where this dude right here essentially beats the living hell out of a witch. The town from whence this dude spawned once upon a time, upon a midnight dreary. I don't know, dude. The town from which this dude came. The people there are, I guess, infected with or hit with this plague or whatever, and they all start to die off. And there's a nearby witch, and he thinks it's the nearby witch that did it. And he goes and he finds her and he tortures the living hell out of this poor woman. And then yeah, it's pretty brutal, but it's actually not a terrible story. Maybe knock out a video about it or something. And yeah, I got the first 2 volumes here. Really like the artwork quite a bit. It's pretty intense artwork, especially when he's torturing the living hell out of the witch. So yeah, I think it's a solid story. Alright, so I'm going to do these 2 together because these were gifts from my friend Justin. We went to Barnes & Noble together for, yeah, just to hang out, right before Christmas. I think a few days before Christmas. We went to Barnes & Noble and we kind of looked around and whatnot, and I bought him a couple of volumes of manga. I forgot what I got him. I got him the Fairy Tail Omnibus that just came out, and I got him something else that I can't remember what it was. If I remember in the editing process, I'll put it over here. But I also bought a bunch of manga myself, and one of the volumes that I bought was that first volume of Please Put Them On, because I haven't been able to find that anywhere, and I ended up picking that up at Barnes & Noble. And he got me 2 volumes of manga as well, and the ones that he gifted me were these right here. Please be very afraid of Kanako Inuki. And I've talked about this creator before, and I said that she is influenced by Kazuo Umez, and this is released by Kodansha. And then he also gifted me Devil's Candy, which he's talked to me about before. I remember him mentioning the series, and this is by Viz. And I haven't started either of these yet, but I do look forward to starting them. I have them on my to be read shelf, and if you watched my tour video, I kind of went down the line of my to be read shelf and showed you all the different stuff that is, on that to be read shelf, and it's 2 layers of manga, and then it started to kind of bleed over into the 3rd shelf, so it might end up becoming a 3-layer shelf of manga that I'm reading. Because when you're doing this channel, like a channel like this one, where like I'm just constantly talking about manga, I have to constantly be reading as much manga as possible. And also kind of wanted to show you all that I'm always, in the middle of like a whole heap of manga. So it's not like I'm just collecting all this stuff and it's just here and it's just, that's it. You know what I mean? Like I'm always trying to put it to use. I'm always trying to make videos about it to try to, keep you all entertained. And yeah, I mean, I'm super grateful to that dude. And I said thank you to him then, and I'll say thank you again. I don't know if he's going to see this or not, but yeah, man, I'm super grateful to have good friends, and you should have, people in your life that you cherish and that, do good by you and you as well, do good by them. So yeah, I'm really grateful to have a friend like that. All right, and by the late Satoshi Kon, we've got Opus. One of my favorite series by this dude is an anime that he did called Paranoia Agent. And then also have Perfect Blue by him. And I'm pretty sure he did another, I think he also did another film that I watched, but I'm not sure if that was him or not. And yeah, this is something that I'm really looking forward to reading. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. Please don't tell me what it's about in the comments. I don't want to know anything. I'm going to go into this blind, and then I'm going to do a video about it. I legit only know that it's Satoshi Kon's Opus, and that's it. That's all I need to know. I haven't even read that back panel or anything, dude. And I'm not going to. This is by Dark Horse. I should have said that. So yeah, this is by Dark Horse Comics. Dark Horse Comics and Manga or whatever. But yeah, I'm looking forward to starting this. And yeah, trust me, once I do read it, you'll know, because there will be a video about it. We've got Akanbanashi Volume 3. This is a series that I've really enjoyed. This is by Viz Shonen Jump. The first volume was pretty solid. I haven't started Volume 2 yet, but I do want to. I like the series because this is an art form that like is essentially like extinct in Japan, which is called rakugo. And I talked about it more in a video that I did. I think it was like my currently reading video, autumn, whatever, currently reading video. And yeah, this is definitely a solid sort of like, I want to say almost like a shonen manga, but like just like a different take on, like the shonen thing, where instead of, going into like these battles, against other like over the top enemies or whatever, she's trying to ascend the ranks of this this art style, and like I can't remember like what each of the ranks is, but basically you start like at the beginner level, and then there's like an intermediate level, and then there's like the master level, which I guess you get at after like years of doing this art form and improving and learning or whatever. And this is something that I've greatly enjoyed. I like her a lot as a character. I like her a lot as a character. I think she is a phenomenal character and definitely one of my favorite leads, and a lot of the stuff that came out, I almost said this year, but we're in a new year, that came out last year in 2023. One of my favorite leads in anything that I read from a story that came out last year. So yeah, definitely recommend checking out Akanbanashi. We got Oshinoko Volume 4. I still need to start Volume 3, dude. I'm not going to say too much about this, but for the most part, I feel like you all watching already know what Oshinoko is, and I don't need to tell you what Oshinoko is. I did a video about this series, or I mentioned it in one of my videos. I don't know if it was a Let's Talk About or like currently reading. I think it was a currently reading that I talked about Oshinoko, and I really like the aspect of it, where like it goes into like idol culture and whatnot, and how toxic that culture is, and that you have to like be constantly vying for the top, and you pretty much can never rest because you always have to be the best, and people can't find out if you're in a relationship, and it's so wild, dude, how intense it is, like how high intensity that whole life is. And power to those people, dude. If it's what they want, and they achieve it, and they can be up there singing their songs, and then just be on all the time, and when they're with their fans and they're on and they're I guess for the most part living their best lives, then hey, it is what it is. I'm not gonna hate on it. I'm not gonna hate on the fans. I'm not hating on anybody. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a great look into just basically like the entertainment industry in general and how it uses people up. All right, so I've got the last stack right here of these. I call them singles because they're like much smaller, volumes. But right here we've got Saku Saku. This is one of my favorite releases from last year, and I've got Volume 2 ordered, if I'm not mistaken. Unless Volume 2 is already out and I had no idea. But I think I have Volume 2 ordered. And This is such an adorable series, dude, and I quite enjoyed it. I love the artwork for it. Even the artwork on this cover, like, this is what sold me. I saw this artwork and I was like, damn, dude, I gotta check this out. And this is by Viz. So yeah, I saw that artwork and I was just like, dude, I have to check this out. Io Sakisaka, I think, is just killing it with the series. And she also did another series that I wanted to check out called Haru no Ride, I think is what it's called. And it kind of starts off with like this girl essentially like trying to find herself and, you know, discover herself as a person, and in doing so she meets this dude and kind of starts this like rom-com sort of relationship. Though I keep calling it rom-com, but it's not, there isn't really so much calm in there as it is more like of just this girl kind of trying to find herself. But maybe in volume 2 and onward it'll start to become more of a romance sort of a thing. But yeah, I like this story. I think it's really well written. I did a video about it, and yeah, this is definitely something that I would recommend if you're somebody that is into this sort of a thing. If you're into like shonen and like seinen and stuff like that, you're probably not gonna like this. You're not gonna have a good time. But if you're like into like romantic sorts of stories or even like rom-coms and stuff like that, I think that you will like this, especially like if you like things with really gorgeous artwork, then yeah, this is definitely up there. Alright, so we got Sakurai-san Wants to Be Noticed, and I think this is by Ghost Ship. This is by Seven Seas. All of it's by the same, you know, thing. It's all Seven Seas, but there's some that's like Ghost Ship or Airship or whatever. I think Airship is like the light novels, but I guess this is Seven Seas itself, and this is Sakurai-san Wants to Be Noticed. I just got my hands on this like the other day, and this is something that I saw when I was in Barnes & Noble, and I almost picked it up, but decided to just wait, you know, and ended up getting it for like $8 from this third-party seller. And it kind of reminds me of like all those other series, you know, like with these like really long names, you know, like Hitomi-chan is Shy with Strangers, or No Matter What You Say, Fuji-san is Scary. When Will Ayumu Make His Move? You know, like those sorts of things. Or Please Go Home, Miss Akutsu. Hokkaido Gals Are Super Adorable. Like that's like in the vein of what this is, and I kind of like skimmed through it, and that's definitely, you know, within that vein. But it just seems kind of like it's supposed to be like a cutesy manga, so yeah, we'll see. Alright, so next up we've got My Poison Princess Is Still Cute, and this is by Yen Press. This just seems like it's super adorable, dude. Like this girl, I think, to the touch, like if you touch her skin, like even for an instant, like you're completely poisoned. And it kind of reminds me of this manga that I read last year called Soada and the House of Monsters, where like near the end of the story there's like this couple that's like a mermaid, and I think she's like electric or something. I can't remember what the situation is, but there's like this mermaid and there's this dude who's like a werewolf, and they're married. Like they're married, but like they can't, you know, be intimate. They can't get next to each other because I think he gets electrocuted if he tries to touch her. I don't remember, dude, what that situation is. But that's kind of what this reminds me of. And even on the back cover, you can see right there this dude who's like passed out. Looks like he's passed out in a pool of his own blood. Because like he can't touch her. If he touches her, like he essentially dies. It just looks super adorable. Like I just got this like the other day too, like much like Sakurai-san. I just got this the other day, dude. I love these just dumb, adorable stories, so I'm looking forward to checking this out. I'm sorry if you wanted me to talk more about some of these stories. It's just that like sometimes I end up talking way too much, and the video ends up being like over an hour, and then it's like a ton of editing I gotta do. But right here we've got To Strip the Flesh, and this is by Viz. So this is like a bunch of stories that kind of wrap around I think like a certain character or whatever, and I really don't know much about it. I saw it when I was at Barnes & Noble. I didn't pick it up at Barnes & Noble. I ended up picking it up when I got back home because I saw it for sale, and this is something that like I'm really looking forward to because yeah, it basically like breaks down, you know, what it is I guess to like be a person, or it breaks down what it is to be like this one specific person. It seems like something that I could, you know, glean something from, you know, that is like a person, you know, coming into their own and starting to figure out who they are. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people can, you know, relate to, especially like, you know, as you're becoming an adult from, you know, being a teenager, you start to figure out who you are. And yeah, I think that's a cool message. So this is something that I want to check out, and it's something that I've had my eye on for a minute. We got a whole lot of One Piece. So I've been picking these up. Like a lot of these have just like randomly gone on sale, and I've been able to get my hands on them. So we got right here what collects. These are the Omnis, and these pretty much collect volumes 4 through 6, and I'm pretty sure these are Shonen Jump. These are Shonen Jump Viz, and yeah, so this collects volumes 4 through 6, and then right here this one collects 7 through 9, and then right here 10 through 12, and it collects like 2 different arcs. It collects the original arc, and then I guess the follow-up arc, 13 through 15, and then 16 through 18. And yeah, these collect, I guess the Pacific Blue arc is what it was, right? Or East Blue, I'm sorry. This is the East Blue arc, and then the other ones collect the Baroque works, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then these collect the Baroque works. I'm not going to pick any more of it up until I, finish these. I'm still in the middle of the first volume just because, like, I've been putting it off because I'm trying to get some other stuff read, for videos or whatever. But once I do all that, I'm going to start reading One Piece because I do want to do, like, a decent sized One Piece video and kind of talk about that series. I know pretty much for the most part, everybody knows what One Piece is, and I'm not going to try to explain to you all what One Piece is, but I just started reading it last year, and being somebody that's brand new to it that hasn't read One Piece, I've never watched the anime. I started watching it. I watched like the first episode or two of the anime and then never continued it. So for the most part, being somebody that's never read One Piece, never watched One Piece, never consumed it, I kind of want to do a video, just from like the outsider perspective, looking in and coming into this world and being fully aware that I am an outsider coming into this world. And yeah, hopefully it does well and YouTube doesn't kill it. Hopefully the copyright holders, don't kill that video because, it's really difficult to talk about One Piece on YouTube because from what I know is those videos usually get copyright striked or get killed or whatever. So we have another collection here. This is After the Rain, and this is by the creator who did or writes. I don't know if they still write it or not. The series that I personally really like, Kowloon Generic Romance. So this is, I guess, the series that this creator did before Kowloon Generic Romance, and there are 5 volumes of it. So and they're all Omni volumes. And right here we got volume 2, and then we got volume 3, and then we've got volume 4, and then we'll close it out with volume 5. And I love these covers. I love this artwork. I love this creator's artwork in general because I've been reading Kowloon again. I stopped reading it for a while, and I've been reading it again, and I'm up to like volume 3 right now. I'd read volume 1 like a year ago, and I did a video about it, and I put it off, and like I kind of put it off, but I've started to read it again, and yeah, I do want to eventually, jump on these, and I got the whole series just because I figured why not. And these are released by Vertical Comics, and I don't know, there's just something so enchanting, about this creator's artwork. Like if you've ever read Kowloon Generic Romance, the artwork is so gorgeous, dude. And I got these all for like $45. I got these like at a really good price. I think typically they're like $12 to $15 a piece, but I got them for like $45 the whole set. Yeah, so I got them for like give or take under $10 a volume. Given that there are 5 volumes and it was under $50. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely quite the steal, and this is something that I do want to get into. I want to explore creators' other works, like if it's somebody that I really like, I'll go out of my way to try to pick up their other series to see what else they've done and to see how much it differs, from their most recent work, which is often the case with me with a lot of creators. Is like I'll discover them through like their most recent work, and if I like their work enough, I'll want to go back and see what else they've done. And I'm glad that this is available, and I was able to go back and to read more. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. All right, so I missed talking about Nanato Kaoru. We got this one right here. This is volume 2 of Nanato Kaoru. This is actually a pretty solid series, dude. And like these Omnis are so massive. this series is pretty good. Like, I don't know how you could, like I don't know how you would go about making like basically S&M, like BDSM, not be like super duper adult. Like it is adult, right? Like BDSM is essentially like an adult practice between two or multiple consenting adult individuals. But this series makes it like it it does this thing where it has the BDSM thing, but then there's actually a story going on, and the story that's going on within this world works, and the mechanics, get them to the place where they need to be, where Nana and Gaoru are two leads, you know, do the thing they're supposed to do, right? Because that's what the story's about. It's about them kind of doing these things called breathers. That's what they call it in the story. They do these breathers, and they she dresses up, right? Like he likes to dress her up in different kinds of outfits and whatnot, and they do things from like that's like they do like some more like humiliating type of stuff, and just I don't want to get too into it, because this is a video for YouTube. But yeah, they do some things that are pretty raunchy, but for the most part, it's pretty like inoffensive, I guess if you will. Like there's really no nudity. At least in the first volume, there wasn't like like a ton of nudity or whatever. And for the most part, they do end up bringing another character into the fold, of what they got going on, and the whole thing it's actually a really entertaining read. Like it's a massive, massive book, but if you're into this sort of thing, or if you just like, raunchy sorts of stories or whatever, that actually has like a pretty decent story, I definitely recommend checking out Nana Tokaru. Yeah, so we got Homunculus. This is one of the most messed up things that I have personally read. I haven't started the second omnibus yet, which contains volumes 3 and 4, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to starting it soon. It's just that like these omnis are so massive, dude, and it's kind of hard for me to like, read this and read other stuff. And since I'm not doing videos about this right now, I've kind of shelved reading it, but I am going to be starting it soon. Once I kind of get through all the stuff that I'm doing for videos, I'm going to start trying to like tackle some of my other stuff. That's kind of what I did with Nana Tokaru as well. Like I knocked out a bunch of stuff that I needed to do for videos, and once I had time where I could just sit and read, I finished finally reading Nana Tokaru, which I'd started like 11 months ago at this point, almost a year ago. And yeah, this is one of those series that's just so wild, dude. And it's like it's hard to describe to somebody. Like you'd have to read it for yourself. But I did do a video about it. I did like a Let's Talk about or something about Homunculus. So if you want to check that out, you can find it on the channel. All right, so I got some complaints about this right here. This fairy tale omnibus. This is by Kodansha. So I guess this is like the second time that they release an omnibus, and the last time they released an omnibus, I guess it was like the same situation. Like I'm nobody to tell anyone, what to do with their product or whatever. But I feel like this was really poorly made. Like when you open this thing up, dude, like look at how the pages look. It does that, and yeah, that's not good, dude. Not to mention the pages are like paper thin. Like you can see through them. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it here, but like you can see through these pages. You can see through the pages to the other side of the page. Just holding it up, you can see through it, and like really paper thin. This is just overall, in my opinion, a bad design. Like either, make it a hardcover or make them taller, so that it's not so cramped into this. Because I feel like when I open it to start reading it, I'm going to have to be careful so that I don't like, crease the spine. But even then, I don't know, dude. You can kind of see it. Like this is just overall to me, just like bad design. But I mean, at the same time, I'm grateful to have it. I'm grateful to have this in an omnibus, and that's on me, for not picking up the singles or whatever. And I wanted to grab the omnibuses because I didn't want to have just like a ton of singles. So I mean, I take the blame, for that, for wanting an omnibus and for, wanting to go a different route than picking up the singles, because there's just so many singles, dude. And you know what I mean? Like I take responsibility for that. So it is what it is. And being a fan of fairy tale, I wanted to own this. And I'm still going to read it. It's not going to stop me from reading it. I even bought my friend Justin this same omnibus of Fairy Tail because I asked him if he read it and he said he never read Fairy Tail. So I basically bought 2 copies of this thing. So I'm allowed to complain. I'm allowed to complain. I bought myself a copy, which is this one, and I bought my friend a copy as well. And yeah, I mean, that aside, I still love Fairy Tail, and Urza Scarlet is one of my favorite characters ever in any story. So yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to starting this big boy Omni. Okie dokie, let's talk about what is essentially one of my favorite manga series from last year. Innocent by Shinichi Sakamoto is just hands down one of the most incredible series that I've read, and this is something that I've been personally really looking forward to for a while, and I feel really fortunate that we got it in English, that Dark Horse was kind enough, to pick this up for us and to put it out in English, and I hope that we get all of this, that we get Rouge as well, and hopefully one day we get the Climber. Because I personally have the Climber myself in Spanish, and I have 2 volumes of it, which I'm going to show you when I get to my Spanish language manga. But yeah, I'm super happy, dude, to have this, and I read this whole thing for a video, which you can. I think I said that I would tag it at some point earlier in this video, but yeah, I mean, dude, this was a marvel. I did a bunch of research when I did my video about this. Pretty much like I want to say I'm not sure what century it is off the top of my head, and I don't want to start just guessing, but I'll put the century down here. Which century this takes place in, but pretty much like French Revolution, like late 1700s. Wonderful story, super dark, super brutal, just a marvel to gaze upon. The artwork is like looking at paintings. This dude, I think, just did his absolute best work of his career with Innocent, dude, and yeah, I can't recommend this enough. This is just one of the most beautiful things I've ever read. We got Prophecy. I have no idea what the hell this is about. I'm going to be honest, dude, I have no idea what this is about, and I kind of want to keep it that way. I haven't read, the back, and I don't want to. I want to go into it blind. I kind of feel like this is one of those things where, like, you should go into it blind. But based on this, I'm going to assume that she's, like, some hotshot detective, and then he's, like, a killer that, like, she's trying to find or stop or something. Kind of looks like Zodiac a little bit. He's got, like, a newspaper on his head. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is about, and I don't want to know what it's about. I want to go in blind, and hopefully I end up liking the series, because it is a huge, huge omnibus, and it collects the whole series, and I think this is available in like 2 paperback editions. I don't know if this was ever available in English, or if this is the only one that was available in English, but I know that there were like 2 paperback editions of it, and then they ended up getting collected in this big, complete omnibus. Alright, so now we've got Takopi's Original Sin, and this is released by Viz. I don't know if I'd said where Prophecy was released by, but it was released by Kodansha. Takopi's Original Sin, I'm going into this for the most part blind as well. All I really know about it is that this girl kind of goofed. I think she made a friendship with an alien, and then something really horrible happens as a result of her friendship with this alien. So it's supposed to be really screwed up. And I'm really looking forward to starting this thing for that reason. I just like reading really like depressing things and really like brutally disturbing things as well. Like I just like reading, all sorts of manga, like I like cute stuff, and I like super dark and brutal stuff, and I like introspective things. I'm all over the place. And yeah, I'm looking forward to starting this, and I'm probably gonna end up doing a video about this. If it's like a big omnibus volume like this, chances are, and this is a collected series, it's completely collected in this omnibus, and chances are if it is something that is completely collected in like a big omnibus, I'm probably just going to end up doing a video about it by itself. So that's definitely going to end up being the case with this, given that it is pretty much a complete story. Alright, we got 2 more of these big omnibus paperbacks, and right here we've got Cells at Work. So I picked this up as well when I was in Barnes & Noble with my friend Justin. And it was funny, when we were in there together, because like I kept recommending him stuff. Like it's funny how like I've gotten to that point where like I've become like a video store rental clerk. And some of you might be too young to have experienced that era, which kind of makes me sad. But I am a part of that era, you know, where like you'd go to a video store rental and somebody would recommend you things like Blockbuster or, you know, like, and random, like, you know, mom and pop, you know, like video rental stores. And those are like long extinct. I don't think anywhere in the world there are like mom and pop shops, you know, like that for video rental. I know there is still a Blockbuster somewhere in like Oregon. I think it's Oregon, like Eugene, Oregon or something like that. There was just like a random Blockbuster, like the last Blockbuster on Earth or whatever. Hopefully it's still there. I don't know, dude. Like I like, you know, recommending people stuff. You know, that's kind of like the whole point of this channel is me just being like, hey, this is a good manga, you should check it out. And, you know, I got to do that in person with my friend Justin. This is like the first time me and that dude ever hung out. I've known him for years, and he's my editor. Like, I write books and whatnot, and he's edited them. He edits them and publishes them and whatnot. And when we were in there, I was, you know, just like kind of showing him different stuff and saying like, hey, this is good, you should check this out. And he was just like taking note of every different series that I pointed out to him. And it's what it made me think. It's what it made me feel like. And while I was there, I found Cells at Work, and this is something that I really like the anime. I've never read the manga, and then I saw that these omnibus volumes were available, collecting the first 3 volumes, and I'm not sure how many volumes altogether this first part of Cells at Work is, but I know it ends up going into like Cells at Work Black, which is like much more mature or whatever. But I really like the anime. I like the anime enough that like I wanted to pick this up. And as I was, you know, checking out, the girl who rang me up was like, "Oh, that's such a great series." And, you know, I kind of told her the same thing, like, "Oh, I've only seen the anime, but I want to read the manga." And she said she'd also only seen the anime. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, dude. I'm happy to own it. I'll try to eventually get my hands on the second part of this. I don't think it's out physically yet. The second omnibus collection of this, I think this literally just dropped last year, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'll definitely end up keeping an eye out for that and continue growing this Cells at Work collection. Don't know if I'll ever do a video about it, but maybe if you all want to see one, I'll do a video about it. So yeah, we'll see. Alright, and then by 7 Seas, we've got Orb on the movements of the Earth, and this is, I guess, the first and second volumes of this series in this paperback omnibus. And this is, I guess, in a time where you were considered like, I guess, like a heretic or whatever if you know, did astrology or went against whatever the church said. You know, if the church said, you know, the earth is flat, then guess what? The earth is flat. If the church said the sky is green, then guess what? The sky is green. You know what I mean? Like, and if you said no, the sky is blue, then you would be labeled a heretic. I'm just saying that as an example. I'm not saying that that's like legit or anything. But basically this dude, I guess, wants to study astrology, and I'm not really 100% sure, like, you know, on the whole story or whatever. I haven't started reading it yet, but I do want to. I may eventually do a video about it. But yeah, he wants to study astrology. He wants to do astrology or whatever in a time where pretty much doing that is super dangerous and can get you basically killed. So I am, in a sense, going in blind because I really don't know that much about the story or about this character. But I know that I saw this cover art and it piqued my interest. I even saw it in Barnes & Noble and ended up picking it up. So yeah, we'll check it out. And I like the way that he's dressed. Like, really, he's got some drip. Dude's got some nice drip going there. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this will pan out, seeing if I like the character, if I like the other characters involved in the story as well. So yeah, that's Orb on the movements of the Earth. Alright, so let's talk about some Spanish language manga, and then after that we will move on to the hard covers. So we got Violent Action Volume 2 right here. I haven't started Volume 1 yet, but I really like the artwork for the series, so I saw that this was available. I ended up picking it up. These are by Norma Editorial, which are from Spain. It's a Spanish publisher. And then we've got the first 2 volumes of The Climber by Shinichi Sakamoto. So we got those right here. I'm really looking forward to starting these. I'm going to be starting these like pretty soon. I've got this first volume right here. I've been keeping it on my to be read shelf because I really do want to start reading it like really soon. And then we've got Hyperinflation, the second volume of Hyperinflation. I've been reading volume 1 and I need to get back into it so I can finish it. But I really like the series. Hopefully one day this ends up getting an English translation. Alright, so we're moving on to the hard covers, and we've got High School of the Dead in these full color editions, and these are by Yen Press. This is really cool, man. I'm really happy to finally own these. I've been wanting to get these forever, and I saw that they were on sale, so I ended up just saying screw it, dude, and I scored the first two copies, the first two volumes, the complete, I guess, complete set, you know, in these hardcovers, volumes 1 right here, and then volume 2 right here. So yeah, that's the whole complete set. You know, it's also available in like paperbacks or whatever. And I'd never read the manga for High School of the Dead, but I'd seen the anime like pretty much everybody else of my generation. You know, I watched the anime, and that was a lifetime ago, dude, when I was a teenager. So like 15 years ago, probably at this point. And yeah, I decided, you know what, I want to own it. I want to check out these physical copies of it, and maybe, you know, I'll do a video. You know, I'll do a video talking about High School of the Dead. So yeah, dude, I mean, it feels really cool. You know, I like having them on the shelf behind me. I like looking at them there, and just they're like such big, oversized volumes. Like compared to like this orb, you know, Movements of the Earth. Like just to give you an idea of like how big these are. Like they're pretty huge volumes. And with these like physical copies of the series, you know, like the anime was like, they had a lot of censorship, and the manga itself is actually uncensored. So a lot of the stuff that like had, you know, like the clouds or whatever, you know, the steam clouds in the manga version, all that stuff is uncensored. And by Kodansha, we've got Chobits. I think this series was at one point released by Dark Horse, if I'm not mistaken. I think Dark Horse released it in like a paperback edition. I could be wrong on that, but these are the 20th anniversary editions of Chobits, and I have the first volume right here of the series. And this is a series that I've known about forever, and I don't know, I just finally pulled the trigger on it, dude. I've been wanting to check it out for the longest time, and I'm finally going to read it. I just like the artwork. It seems really adorable, and I'm not going to pick up any more of it. I only picked up this first volume because I want to make sure that I like it first, you know, before I go out of my way picking up any more of it. But given that, like, you know, I like this sort of stuff, I think I will enjoy it. But just all the same, you know, I wanted to just get this first volume, see how I feel about it, and if I fall in love with the story, I'll definitely jump on, you know, volume 2. All right, and we're on to the last two of the hardcovers right here. We've got Tecon Krete by Taiyo Matsumoto, and this is the 30th anniversary edition of Tecon Krete, and this has been out of print for a while. I had a chance to pick this up in like the mid 2010s, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or unless I'm talking out of my ass, I'm not really sure. But I do remember that I had a chance to pick this up, that I could have picked up I don't know if it was like a paperback or what edition of the series in the 2010s. There's also an anime, a film of Tecon Krete, which I haven't seen, and for the most part, this is a really classic series that I'm going to finally get to experience for myself because of this this re-release, and I love how big these volumes are, and I love that it's in a hardcover. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous. This dude has done a ton of work. He's got a new manga. I don't know if it's an old one that's just now being translated into English, but he's got one coming out, I think, this year. And then he also did number 5, which I think is like all total like 4 or 5 volumes. Number 5, it's a pretty short series. I think it's only like 4 or 5 volumes deep. And I have the first volume of it, but I'm not gonna pick up any more of that series until I finally read my first volume of it to see if I end up liking it or not. But yeah, this is just an absolute classic, and I'm going to be starting it soon because I really want to do a video about it. I want to cover it. I want to, you know, give you all my thoughts on it. And for the most part, I am going in blind because I've never read it, and I'm not really altogether sure, you know, what the story's about. But I just know that it features a bunch of young kids. And for the most part, if it's anything like what I think it's going to be, it's just like these kids having fun or whatever, just doing like really obnoxious things, and yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy it. All right, so we are going to close this thing out with Berserk Volume 14. This right here closes out the final part of the work that Miura-sensei did on Berserk, and then there's also like, I think just like artwork and sketches and whatnot and ideas that Miura-sensei had for Berserk. So I picked up volumes 40 and 41 of like the paperback editions of Berserk because I wasn't sure if they were ever going to get translated. I wasn't sure if they were ever going to get put into a hardcover. I didn't know that they were going to do this 14th volume. I wasn't sure if it was going to come out or not because all that was left of the stuff that Miura-sensei did were, you know, those 2 small editions. But I guess, you know, they were able to compile a bunch of extra stuff to make it a much bigger, you know, Omni or whatever, hardcover Omni. And I'm glad they did that because I'm really happy to own this. And I'm looking forward to continuing the story. I'm still like on volume 5, and I got them back there. I got them behind me. You can see I've got all the Berserks behind me, all the Berserk hardcovers behind me. But it's a shame, you know, that this is it. This is the end of the road for the stuff that, you know, Miura-sensei created. But all the same, I am super grateful to own it and to have supported it, both in buying those last 2, you know, paperbacks and owning this big hardcover. And that's going to be the last time. That's going to be the last time that, you know, I feature one of these at the end of my video, because every time that I've picked up these hardcovers, you know, it's been at the end of the video. I always save them for last because I always want to save the best for last, and it just feels wild. You know, if there's ever a 15th volume, it's going to be the stuff done by Koji Mori, who was one of his closest friends, Miura-sensei's closest friends, and Studio Gaga, which was the studio with which I think that was the studio that Miura-sensei worked with. I think they worked under him to help him create Berserk. So in a sense, it's almost going to be like if he's still around creating it, because it's people that really care about the universe and that were, you know, part of it. So, yeah, I mean, I really look forward to continuing Berserk because it is just one of the greatest stories ever created. And that's it. That's all I have for you. I went through a whole heap of manga. I'm sorry if there's certain things you wanted to know more about. If there's anything that I talked about and you want to know more about it, please feel free to ask in the comments. If I can answer it, I will. If somebody else who knows, who's read the thing, can answer it for you, hopefully somebody will step up and answer it if I'm unable to. But yeah, if there's anything in all of these volumes that I talked about that you're curious about, you want to know more about it, feel free to ask. It's just that I don't want these videos to be like extremely long, because if you leave me to it, I will talk for 2 hours. I'll make these videos 2 hours just going on and on and on and on. But thank you so much for watching this video. It means the absolute world to me. I hope that you are having a great 2024. Please take care of yourselves.
Yo, it's himself, the Shadowrunners clique, aka Sleep All Out. Take you on a mental and live for one day, y'all. Sheets, y'all. Guns, y'all. Yo, who got the guns, who got the coke? Hustling them through like big punch cholesterol before he croak. Rest in peace, but I bless in peace and live to one day lay in shoots. Rap over beats and tell wild stories, mythology, mystery. Choke on your own misery, fuck them, we're the wild bunch. Yo, I asked him if this bike could punch. This shit made me lose my lunch. Bro grabbed the rocket, I said chill before he cocked it.